This work shows a finely dressed young woman standing at a virginal, her outward gaze an invitation to the viewer to come and join her in making music. The scene is set in a Delft interior, typical of Vermeer, as light spills from a window on the left and onto a floor of black and white tiles. The woman plays a musula virginal, an instrument usually played standing up. Unlike the virginal scene in the music lesson, or the ruckus one in the gallery, both featuring a printed motto, this more deluxe version has a painted landscape on the lid, done in the style of a Delft contemporary. The instrument maker would leave certain areas blank, allowing their clients to commission artists to decorate the virginal, often doubling its price. Behind the young woman, on the back wall, are two paintings, a small landscape and an image of Cupid holding a playing card, signifying faithfulness in love. Now, I've been joined again by exhibition curator Betsy Wieseman. Betsy, this room is filled with women playing musical instruments, of which perhaps the most supreme example is this one. What do we know about the women in general and this woman in particular? I mean, is this a portrait? Is this a fantasy? Do we know anything about them? Are they generic?
I think it may be a little bit of everything. I think Vermeer based the figures in his paintings perhaps on family members or professional models or friends who would have stood for the paintings. But I think they're intentionally generalized and idealized so that we can't relate them to a specific person. There's no way looking at this that we can mistake it for a portrait. It might bear a generic resemblance to someone, but I think the intent is to make it intentionally vague and anonymous, if you will, so that perhaps we can project ourselves into the painting a little better.
The other thing that immediately strikes you is the paintings within the painting, but in particular the painting on the lid of the virginal. Why would the virginal have had that particular landscape, for example, painted on it?
Well, I think a lot of musical instruments had landscapes like this decorating them because it was something pleasant to look at. Sometimes they have mythological figures or people having a picnic, things like that, pleasant pastoral associations. The paintings here, both the painting on the background wall and the one decorating the lid of the virginal, are done by Vermeer in the style of one of his Delft contemporaries, a landscape painter. Sometimes they have printed mottos on the lid, but a more expensive option would be to hire a painter to paint a landscape or another scene that you recommended to them.
Just looking at this, in his lifetime, would this painting have been more valuable than the virginal that he paints with a landscape on it? Or in the culture of Delft at the time, would the instrument itself have been more valued?
I think the instrument would have cost more. Virginals like this would have been incredibly expensive and owned only by, the very well-to-do. And we know from the inventory of Vermeer's possessions that he in fact did not own a virginal like this.